Well, the average adult needs 7 or more hours of sleep a night. Anything less consistently could lead to a lower immune system, weight gain, as well as a lessened attention span and even memory loss. Sleep is one of the biggest health threats in the fire service, according to the State Firefighters and Fire Marshals Association of Texas. And that is why FEMA is leading the SHIFT study. It is examining how sleep and behavioral health impact firefighters' safety, performance, and long-term well-being. All firefighters, career and volunteer, are invited to participate in this study. You may remain anonymous, and it should take only about 45 minutes to complete. You may remember that we told you in April that Wolfforth Fire and EMS adopted new shift hours, moving to a 48 hours on, 96 hours off schedule. Meanwhile, the Lubbock Professional Firefighters Association is proposing a 24 hours on, 72 off schedule. There is no word yet on whether this shift proposal will be put in place.